Hi, everyone, and welcome to Divine Touch by Dana. This evening, I will be speaking about betrayal. First, I will start off by giving you the definition of betrayal, and then we'll go into betrayal a little bit further. Betrayal is the act of intentionally disloyal or deceiving someone, such as when a friend tells others your secrets. Betrayal can also be defined as the act of disappointing someone's expectations, hopes, or trust. Some examples include betrayal of disloyalty, dishonesty, infidelity, and harmful disclosures of confidential information. Betrayal can be traumatic and cause significant distress. Betrayal trauma can affect a person's emotional health, self esteem, and relationships with others. Some signs of betrayal trauma include anxiety, depression, and other mental health symptoms, nightmares, physical pain or stomach distress, panic attacks, thoughts of suicide, difficulty trusting others, attachment issues, eating disorders, and substance abuse. Some tips for healing from betrayal: you can talk with someone you trust, practice self care, acknowledge and accept. Don't blame yourself. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself space from the person that betrayed you. Practice forgiveness and avoid retaliation. That's one thing that I know a lot of people don't do well with. Next, I wanted to talk about some Bible verses that mention betrayal by family. Mark 13:12, a brother will betray his brother to death. A father will betray his own child, and children will rebel against their parents and cause them to be killed. Luke 21:16-18. Even those closest to you, your parents, brothers, relatives, and friends, will betray you. They will even kill some of you, and everyone will hate you because you are my followers. But not a hair of your head will perish. Matthew 10:36-39. 36:39. Those who love their father or mother more than me are not fit to be my disciples. Those who love their son or daughter more than me are not fit to be my disciples. The Bible also says that God is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The Bible does not tell people to continue in relationships with people who have damaged them, and instead teaches people to leave relationships with wicked or evil people. The Bible has many verses about betrayal. Here's a few more. Proverbs 19:5, a false witness will not go unpunished. Matthew 24:10, many will fall away and betray one another. First Peter 3:9, do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for to those you were called, that you may obtain a blessing. According to 2 Timothy 3:4-17 says, they will betray their friends, be reckless, be puffed up with pride, and love pleasure rather than God. They will act religious, but they will reject the power that could make them godly. Stay away from people like that. Psalm 41:9, which says, "Even my close friend, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread, has turned against me." Psalm 55:12-14, "For it is not an enemy who reproaches me, then I could bear it." Matthew 26:23, "The one who has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me." I'm sure that sounds familiar to many people. According to the Bible, adultery is condemned and considered a great sin. The Bible says, "You shall not commit adultery," Exodus 20:14. Proverbs 6:32 says, "But the man who commits adultery is an utter fool, for he destroys himself." Mark 10:11-12 says, "Whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her, and if she divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery." Psalm 55 offers 5 steps to take when betrayed, including express anger to God. David urges God to destroy his enemies in verses 9 and 15. "Let God deal with our betrayer. We should refrain from seeking revenge. Trust in God and extend forgiveness." David reminds us to rely on God in verses 22-23. In the Bible, Jesus says, "Woe to that man who betrays the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had not been born." Betrayal Bible verses. Proverbs 10:18, "Whoever conceals hatred with lying lips and spreads slander is a fool." Matthew 5:44, "But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you." Bible verses about betrayal by a lover. The Bible has many verses about betrayal, including Psalm 41:9, which says, "Even my close friend, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread, has turned against me." I know that was one that I already spoke about. Proverbs 19:5, "A false witness will not go unpunished, and whoever pours out lies will not go free." Luke 22:48, Jesus said to Judas, "Would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" Some say that God can relate to betrayal because he was betrayed, but still helped, forgave, and rebuilt relationships. The Bible also says that forgiveness is not easy, but it is also not optional. Colossians 3:13 says that you should bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. What does God say to do when someone betrays you? Forgiveness is not easy, but it is also not optional. God commands us to forgive. You must make allowances for each other's faults and forgive the person who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Colossians 3:13. You may ask, what does God say about broken relationships? Psalm 147:3. The Bible says the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and heals the brokenhearted. So not only will God provide comfort as you move on from a past relationship, but He'll actually help you do it. God will help you heal from the wounds caused by the relationship and move forward in life and love. What does the Bible say about letting go of toxic relationships? In fact, the scriptures are full of teachings instructing us to leave relationships with wicked or evil people, to be separate from them, to shun, outcast, and purge them from our midst. 1 Corinthians 15:33, Proverbs 13:20, Psalm 1:1, Proverbs 6:27, 1 Corinthians 5:11, 1 Corinthians 10:13. These are all just a few. And lastly, how do you know when God is telling you to let go? One of the most significant signs that God may be telling you to move on from a situation is a persistent lack of peace. When something is not in alignment with God's will, it often leads to inner turmoil and unease. If you're concerned about circumstances that are disturbing you, pray about that situation. What does God say about narcissists? Narcissism can be viewed as the epitome of sin, as individuals choose to be their own gods, seeking self worship and control. The book of Proverbs addresses this concept by referring to narcissistic behaviors as foolishness. The fool makes his own rules, scoffs at rebuke, and disregards the harm his actions may cause. How did Jesus deal with toxic people? Jesus, in fact, tells us exactly how to treat toxic people. In Luke 6:27-29, instead of shunning toxic people, Jesus instructs us to love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. If someone strikes you on one cheek, turn to him the other also.